Welcome to the Punters runner-by-runner preview of Saturday's Ipswich Cup, brought to you by Racing Queensland. I'm your host, Liam McCallion, and joined by Punters form analyst James Land. He's a bit more of an expert than me on Ipswich form. How you going, Lammy?
Potentially, yeah, I'm well. It's nice to do a show with you for the first time.
I know.
You've become a real swingman in the office, just play wherever the coach needs you, just filling gaps everywhere. So, no, I'm looking forward to this.
Absolutely. You threw me under the bus on hold all tickets, so I might have to try and get you back on this show, I reckon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there we go. The Tab Ipswich Cup is the region's biggest annual winter event, attracting crowds of up to 20,000 people. Almost 1.3 million in prize money is up for grabs across the 9-race program. There are trackside marquees and an infield festival, plus a swathe of other public function areas at the track. Anyone who hasn't got their tickets, you can get them from the Ipswich Turf Club website at ipswichturfclub.com.au. All right, Lammy, in terms of the action on the track, what do we have to look forward to?
We've got a trio of stakes races. We've got the Tab Ipswich Cup, which is the race we'll be previewing shortly, the Eyeliner Stakes and the Gay Waterhouse Classic. But this day is particularly memorable, at least in recent times. We're going back a few years for Incentivise. It was an absolute superstar for a brief period of time. He won a benchmark 78 on this day by nearly 10 lengths. Ooh. He then won the Group 1 Mackay Diva Stakes in Melbourne 2 starts later and the Caulfield Cup 4 starts later. He finished second in the Melbourne Cup that spring, but sadly never raced again. I'm not sure if we'll see another Incentivise at Ipswich on Saturday, but you never know.
You never know. That'd be really interesting in that one. Before the action on Saturday, if you're around on Thursday evening at 6 p.m, the Calcutta is being held in the Grange Lounge at the Ipswich Turf Club. You've got the entry is free and the tickets and the raffle are $10, so get involved if you're in the area. All right, let's get into it. Time to preview the feature race, the 250,000 Ipswich Cup. Lammy, let's start with the speed map.
Yes, it's a good place to start. Not a heap of early speed to report here. Maybe Jake Bayliss comes across on Warp Speed to have a look for the top. Dark Destroyer and Akratiri, I should say, should be handy from their inside barriers, provided they step cleanly, but I can't see them breaking any records in this. I think the tempo looks fairly muddling.
There we go. All right, let's get into the form. We're always going to start with number 1, Miss Jolene. You got the trainer, Kelly Schweider there. What do you think about this one, Lammy?
Yeah, highest rated horse in the race and weighted accordingly with 60 kilos. Got a mile back from an outside barrier last start. Never a factor there. Prior to that, she was racing at the pointy end against the likes of Antino, who's probably the second best horse in Australia. Stepping back up to 2,000 or beyond 2,000 looks suitable. So that's a tick for this horse.
Yeah, very nice. Number 2 in barrier 14. Next one is Brookhaven.
Yeah, coming off a couple of heavy track runs back onto a firmer surface here. The forecast for Ipswich looks really promising. So I think we'll probably be on a good 4 or a soft 5 at worst on Saturday. Does map terribly, I think, from barrier 14 unless Huxtable decides to roll the dice and go forward from out there. Given, as I mentioned earlier, there doesn't look to be much speed in this race. So finished 5th in this race last year, but had 5.5 kilos less.
Okay. Next one is Red Wave. The jockey is Kyle Wilson-Taylor. What do we think about this one?
He actually won this race last year at pretty big odds. Form since has tapered off quite a fair bit, though. Suited stepping up in distance, loves the track, but needs to lift on recent efforts.
Needs to lift, yeah, right. Got that one. Osmos, he's in barrier 6. What do you think?
Yeah, 2 runs back from a spell have been good. 3rd in listed grade at Doomben and 3rd in a handy mares race at Eagle Farm last start. Was Group 2 placed over 2,000 as a younger horse. Has drawn well for Regan Bayliss. I think this horse is in the mix for sure.
Next one actually is Dark Destroyer, barrier 2, jockey Emily Lang.
Yeah, it was good on a genuinely bottomless track in New Zealand 2 back, but his form around that is average at best. Did nothing at Eagle Farm last start, and getting onto a firm track doesn't help. So it's a no there for me.
No, fair call. Warp Speed, obviously trained by Mark Goodwin.
Yeah, comes back from a couple of Group 3s where he's been competitive without threatening. Always tries hard, this horse. He's pretty genuine. I think he can get into the minor money if Bayliss is positive early from out wide. I just don't think he has the turn of foot to go back and sort of loop around them. So if he settles in the first 4 or 5, he can get into the placings, but I can't see him as a winning hope.
No, fair enough. Diablo Bolt, barrier 5.
Yeah, showed nice promise when getting into this distance range last prep. Bolted in over 2,200 at Doomben. 2 runs back from a break have been solid. Maps well for Robbie Dolan. I think he's probably got a lot more upside than most of his rivals in this, so he did come into my calculations.
Yep, very nice. Poetic Drama, next one on board is Angela Jones.
Yeah, beaten less than 2 lengths at Group 3 level 2 back before finishing midfield at Eagle Farm last start. Distance is a complete unknown, so we're guessing there and maps poorly.
Maps poorly. Okay. I like this name. Felix the Scat. You've got Tony Galan is the trainer.
Yes, real rocks or diamonds operator, this horse.
Yeah.
Can either look really good or completely legless. Bounced back to winning form in a small field last start. Should be fitter again fourth up. He's hard to trust, but it wouldn't be a total shock. But I couldn't tip him with any great confidence.
Yeah, but there's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's a chance. All right. Yep. Flash R is the next one. Barrier 4.
Yeah, finished third in this race way back in 2021, but it's been a long time between drinks. And a place is probably the best case scenario for him.
Place, yep. Raff Attack, obviously got Kieran Ma there.
Yep, leading stable for Raff Attack. He hasn't set the world on fire in 3 runs since resuming, but his best form reads pretty well for this. He was beaten less than 2 lengths in the Rowley Mile at Hawkesbury, which is a pretty handy race. Group 3 winner over 1,800. He beat a horse called Tom Kitten that day, who's gone on to be a top liner in Australia. The distance, he's another one who's a bit of a query at the distance, but yeah, I'm treating Raff Attack with a bit of respect here.
Yeah, very nice. Akratiri, next one obviously from New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah, I butchered the name, so you've done well there.
There we go.
He's won 2 of his last 3, but they were in benchmark 68 and benchmark 78 company. Drawn well, but doesn't quite look up to the level just yet. He might get there, but maybe not yet.
Yeah, and finally finishing off with number 14, Phillipsburg.
Yeah, veteran galloper who's been running well on wet tracks, up in class and onto a firmer track are both negatives, so it's a no for Phillipsburg.
There you go. That's the form with Lammy. All right, Lammy, give us your top 4 for the Ipswich Cup here.
Happily. Number 4, Osmos on top from number 8, Diablo Bolt. Number 1, Miss Jolene, and number 12, Raff Attack in for 4th.
Ooh, don't mind that. And if I gave you $100 to spend on the race, I don't know if I would, but what would you do with it?
I don't think you have $100. I would have 70 on Osmos at around $5 as we record. Those odds might change. 30 on Diablo Bolt, so a little saver there, but 2-horse play for me in the Ipswich Cup.
That's the runner-by-runner preview done and dusted. A reminder, you can get your tickets for the Ipswich Cup from the Ipswich Turf Club website. Thank you very much, Lammy, and thanks for having me on. Thanks to our friends at Racing Queensland.
Good job hosting.
Thank you.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.